This is Pete Santini's Custom Paint Emporium in Westminster, California, and we're here to visit with well-known and incredibly talented artist Steve Stanford. Most of you probably know Steve for his concept drawings and custom designs that appear regularly in rod magazines, or for his airbrush work and other contemporary graphics that he applies to full-size cars. What many of you may not know is that Steve started out as a pinstriper and sign painter, and he still does plenty of dagger and quill work on rods and customs. So that's what we've come here for, a hands-on lesson in how to pinstripe.
Are there different kinds of brushes that you use for various things?
Some guys call them daggers, some guys call them, sword stripers. They've been a standard of pinstriping since Roman times, really. And then you have a selection of assorted quills and that for doing close-up work, tight corners, detail, signatures for when you're done. I trim off the very tips. You can see the difference between the length of the bristles and that.
Steve, what are the brushes made out of?
Stripers supposedly are made out of, get this, Siberian squirrel hair.
Let's talk about the paint.
Well, the paint itself is kind of an industry standard. It's one-shot sign painter's enamel. The real trick to pinstriping is how the brush is loaded.
Show us.
There we go.
What are you doing?
What I'm doing is making sure that the paint is thoroughly mixed in the bristles.
You dip it in the paint, and then you dip it in thinner. What kind of thinner do you use?
I just prefer like a medium to slow lacquer thinner, because for automotive applications, I like stuff to bite right into the paint.
Well, that's pretty unusual. Most stripers want.
They like mineral spirits or terps or something, turpentine or something like that. It doesn't dry as fast as, say, lacquer thinner would.
Exactly. So you would not recommend that a beginner use lacquer thinner?
No, not in the least. Get a little bit of brush time under your belt first.
What consistency are you looking for?
It's all done by feel. Some guys like it relatively wet. Some guys like it almost dry.
Are you ready to pull a line yet?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Okay. I use what's called a pinky down technique.
Now this is how you pull a straight line.
Right. Now if you want to pull, say, like a curved line, for instance. Okay, well, I'll just...
Now what are you doing to make that curved line?
Well, it's mostly, at this point, it's hand movement. And some guys like to twist the bristles or the brush itself for extremely tight curve. Say... As I'm pulling, I'm also twisting the brush. Okay, now we've got this thin line here. Now I'm going to really bear down on this for just a moment to get a really fat line out of the same brush. But I'm also pulling this line slowly too, as opposed to the first line, which I pulled relatively quickly.
Now what if you mess up?
Oh, that's real simple. Just you wipe it off. The beauty of this paint is that it's slow drying, and it's designed for easy cleanup, for that purpose.
Now, do you make these up as you go?
Oh yeah, I mean they're pretty. The designs are pretty standard, depending on what style you're looking for. Some of the guys like to be traditionalists and do what they call a Von Dutch style, which is it's fairly geometric, and sometimes it can be fairly angular, as opposed to a real fluid style that came along in the late '60s. This is actually more of a '60s style of a pinstripe, because that's basically the influences that I had, were the guys like Walt Prey, say Larry Watson, Tom Kelly, even Ed Roth. I love Ed Roth's early work.
So this is something that you've done enough times that you sort of know it by heart? Pretty
much, yeah. I've got over 20 years experience doing this, and then you establish a series of designs in the back of your head. You get a very simple initial design going, and then you just kind of play with it from there.
Would you say that one of the major faults of pinstripers is not knowing when to quit?
Sometimes less is more.
Yes.
And then there are times when you really want to make a splashy statement, but see, you have to keep all this in context. If the car itself is fairly mild, almost to the point of being stock, then I would say if the guy wants to go for it, then you can put a complicated design on and get away with it. But if the car already makes a statement in itself, pinstriping is just supposed to be the frame around the picture. It's supposed to be just an accent. I'm not into being a striper as a lifestyle. I mean, I'm basically into it for problem solving. I'm trying to make cars look good.
Now, are these known as lettering brushes?
Yeah, these are lettering brushes. These are quills. They're kind of they actually started just from regular sign paint work, but the pinstripers appropriated the brushes and used them in all sorts of creative forms. With this, I can get a little tighter edge. I can get a nice tight corner. I can get a finer detail. I can sign my name with them, and this is fun. You know, it's funny, after about 22 years of doing this, I still feel like a kid in a candy store. I mean, it beats the heck out of a real job. I think I'd like to demonstrate how long lines are done, straight lines. And for that, I'll need this piece of 1/4-inch tape. And you're probably saying, well, what does he need that for? Simple deal. You need something to as a reference point.
So this would be like if you're going to stripe the belt line of a car or something.
Exactly. If you don't have a body character line as a reference point, you need something in which to go by, and that's where that 1/4-inch tape comes in handy. Now see, this is where I flip the brush over so I can get a nice blunt edge.
Tell us about the importance of making corners.
Well, corners are extremely important. You need to keep your work nice and crisp.
Does it matter which direction you go?
Depends on what you're doing. Myself, I like to do whatever is comfortable. By bearing down on the quill, I'll increase the thickness of my paint, and then by pulling up gradually is how I decrease the thickness, so I get a nice tapered line. Remember my favorite slogan, that half of art is faking it, the other half is hoping nobody knows?
Okay, Steve, let's go do some real striping on a car.
Sounds good to me. Let's go for it.
Okay. This is Dave DeJour's 54 Chevy lime green with purple candy flames that Steve's going to put a little striping on the trunk of. And excuse his lack of front bumper, that's why he's at Santini's to get it repainted.
Do you have anything specific in mind, or are you just going to pretty much leave it up to the painter?
Whatever you think will complement this car, I leave it up to you. I'm kind of a fan of less is more. It doesn't take a lot to say a lot.
Yeah.